Chapter 2, Let the Gaslighting Begin. The next few weeks got pretty bad. Thinking nothing of it, because why would I bought a book a male friend recommended. When he found out how I learned about the book, I had to defend my purchase so much that I still haven't read another page. Even though I know I shouldn't, I still feel guilty over the trouble that purchase caused. Every day I heard about how bad of a place our relationship was in and how I must be blind or not care if I couldn't see it. I was told over and over again that our relationship was in its current place because of me. In his mind, I was prioritizing everyone and everything above our relationship. He saw it as my fault and did his best to make me believe it. Deep down, I knew it wasn't true. However, when the person you love and trust more than anyone is in so much pain and repeatedly states that your relationship is in a bad place and you are the cause, how do you not start to believe them? 2 weeks after it all started, I was in the final few weeks of a leadership program. At one event, they handed us each part of what we wrote in our applications for the program. In my answers, when I wrote about myself, I used words like dedication, caring for and supporting others, and loyalty. Each word jumped off the page and it felt like a cut from a knife. How could I be a dedicated person when my husband was accusing me of giving up on our marriage? How could I care about and support others when I was the cause of my husband's pain and was accused of not caring to make things better? How could I be a loyal person when I was still having to work daily to make my husband believe me when I said I was not having an affair? It was so painful seeing who I thought I was on paper, while at the same time hearing his voice tell me I was no longer that person. Any moment I could, I took an extra bathroom break to talk myself back up and not crumble to tears in a room full of people I didn't want to lie to, but I wasn't ready to share the truth. The following week, we had our final all-day event. I remember walking into that event feeling numb. To say that week at home was hard was an understatement. We had a friend in town who allowed us to go on nightly walks where we would talk about our relationship without our girls hearing. Nothing good came of any of those conversations. During that final leadership event, we received the results of an assessment we were asked to take. Just like at the event the week before, I felt like the words on the page must be a lie. They described the person I thought I was, but not the person I was made to believe I was at that moment. The assessment's results used words like makes good judgment and trustworthy. I must not have good judgment if I allowed myself to be in situations that would make my husband think wrong of me. And how can I be trustworthy if my husband no longer trusts me? It was the first time in the entire program I wanted to hide in the back of the room and not participate in any conversation. I didn't know how to balance the person I actually was and the person I was being made to feel. Midway through the day, we transferred as a group to a second location for lunch and ziplining, where I forced myself to eat half a sandwich even though I felt sick with emotional chaos inside. When asked for volunteers for the first group of zipliners, I jumped at the opportunity because I needed something to distract me. Little did I know how much it would work. About halfway through the course, as we stood on the tallest platform, it started to rain. With no easy way to get out of the rain or seek shelter, we made the most of it. We laughed and joked around and cheered each other on as we continued the course. It was the first time in weeks I felt happy. The rain momentarily washed away all the stress and emotions I was carrying. Unfortunately, it didn't last long. That evening, the leadership group was scheduled to go out for drinks. Since we all got soaked in the rain, we went home to shower and change before meeting up a bit later. I knew going home was a bad idea. When I left in the morning, there was a tension so strong in the house that I planned on not going home before that night's activities. However, those plans did not work out due to the rain, and I had to return home. While drying my hair in the bathroom, my husband came to talk to me. Exactly 1 week from then, we were scheduled to start a 2.5-week trip where we would start in Baltimore for a friend's wedding and then continue north to see my family. He came in to tell me that he had been debating with himself whether he would still go on the trip. He didn't know if he could take a trip with me and go to a wedding when he believed I had betrayed him and our marriage. In a tone that made me believe he wanted me to be thankful, he continued by adding that, at that moment, he was going to do me the favor of going on the trip, but that he could change his mind at any time based on how I behaved over the next week. For the final jab, he added that he saw that if he didn't go, I would have to tell everyone, both my friends at the wedding and my family in New York, why he wasn't there, and that it was my fault because I betrayed him. I was so hurt. He didn't see anything wrong with what he told me because he was still planning on going at that moment. But I was hurt from two sides. While he was slowly convincing me that we had been having deep problems in our marriage for a while now, I never cheated on him. Yes, he thought I did, but there was no truth. I never betrayed him, but he wouldn't believe me. Second, I saw his comments as him putting me on notice. I had to be perfect over the next week because if I said or did anything he could take to justify his feelings, the girls and I would be getting on a plane without him. In that moment, I felt stuck. I needed to leave the house because I didn't want to be around him. I was too hurt and didn't want to say anything I would regret. At the same time, I didn't want to go out because I wasn't in the mood to pretend everything was okay. In the end, going out won because I wanted to delay having the next conversation for as long as possible. I lasted about an hour before my emotions got the best of me. A few of us met up early at one of the group members' houses before heading to the bar down the road. While there, I went to the bathroom, and the silence allowed every thought I was thinking and emotion I was bottling up to fill my mind. The tears started to flow, and there was nothing I could do to stop them. Knowing I couldn't stay in the bathroom forever, I moved to the kitchen, where a guy from the group saw my tears and asked if a hug would help. I said yes and buried my face into his shoulder as he wrapped his arms around me. We stayed like that until the tears started to slow and I felt like I could talk. To this day, I feel bad because I wasn't fully honest with what I shared. I knew I had to say something, but wasn't ready to share all the details. I left it as that we were having some marital problems and got into a fight before I left the house. He gave me some advice, cheered me up, and we went to join the group at the bar. I feel lucky to say that many in the group extended a comforting gesture to me. While not making me share details, they let me know that they cared and wanted to see me smile. What they didn't know was that the whole time I was afraid of going home and talking with my husband. But a conversation needed to happen, and I decided that the best option was to have it in a public place. I asked my husband if our house guests could watch the girls so he could join me out for drinks with the group. As I predicted, due to the fact that others were close by, he listened and stayed calm. The conversation went better than I predicted, and he stayed with me to have some drinks and finally meet the people I had become friends with through the leadership program. Over the next week, there was a lot of talking. There were some moments of tension, but nothing stopped him from getting on the plane and attending the wedding. During our trip, I put every effort into making him feel good about our relationship. We spent one-on-one time together whenever we could. We talked, and I surprised him with a few things. I thought these 2.5 weeks helped highlight who we were as a couple and how we weren't in a bad place. I worked hard because saving our marriage was so important to me. Arriving home, I experienced a shock that felt like running into a wall. He asked me what I thought about the status of our relationship. When I said that it was good and that we healed so much during our time away, he told me that, for him, our relationship was in a worse spot than ever before. I didn't realize how much he could manipulate my mind because after a few conversations, I was 100% believing him.